Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Monday, January 29th at 11:29 p.m. Mountain Time 2018. Join us this Thursday, February 1st at 10 p.m. at freedomslips.com, which is Revolution Radio, in Studio A, where Mini Ice Age Conversations with David Dubine will be hosting us and Ice Age farmer Christian Westbrook for a discussion on the problems and the solutions associated with the upcoming Grand Solar Minimum. Let's get on with the update. Incoming storm bringing elevated risk of landslides, flooding, and avalanches to the Pacific Northwest. Seattle, the National Weather Service is warning of an increased threat of landslides in most of western Washington as an incoming weather system drenches the area with heavy rain through Monday evening. The approaching storm has also triggered flash flood watches for portions of northwest Washington, west central Washington, and an avalanche warning is in effect for the North Cascades. Oppenheimer Ranch Project is issuing a Rattlesnake Ridge update and warning. Hello, somewhere in this region here, Yakima. It's going to be drenched with rain, and frost wedging is not something good for Rattlesnake Ridge. That's a heads up. Guys, if you don't know about Rattlesnake Ridge, it's a large landslide that's about to happen at any moment just south of Yakima. We have tons of videos on it. Midwest and Northeast braced for snow and chilly temperatures. It is winter, after all. A coastal system is bringing rain showers to parts of the mid-Atlantic, and everyone's worried about flooding, which is currently happening now in the south. She is completely worried. There's a flooding threat, and there is a few inches of rain, and that's a boom. Guys, we're going to go through the models. We have a short-term outlook of what the polar vortex is doing, but let's talk about your heating bills. This is coming out from Raleigh County. Heating bills soar from the bitter cold, and this is not the only place. We're talking all of North America. North of the Mason-Dixon line. You may have been shocked when you receive your heating bill this month. Bitter cold spell takes a toll on your health and your wallet. These stories are coming in from all of our subscribers that are up in this particular region here called the Northeast. Snow forecast for Monday through Friday. And we're looking at heavy snow in the Pacific Northwest. And then there's that drought line, basically the pink line. Everything south of there is going to get a big zip for the next 7 to 15 days. It's not looking very moist down there. But it is looking very heavy up here in Washington, where you're well upwards of 2 to 3 feet of snow, including northern Idaho and western Montana, 2 feet of snow. Massive amounts of snow picking up right here in the next 5 days in the Appalachians. The southern Appalachians are having an epic ski season. Heads up, snowshoe. That's 2 feet of snow forecast in the next 5 days. And that is our first boom of the day. Grand solar minimum much? Boom. And this boom is coming from one of our subscribers. He's an artist, and he sent this to me today via email, and I'm going to give him a shout out right now by not using his name because I don't know if he wants me to. But this is his art, and he says boom. And it was pretty awesome. Snow forecast for the Saturday through Tuesday, the 6th of February. That blizzard is no longer in the picture. You're going to be picking up a little heavy snow here in the Midwest. But the heavy snows are going to continue in the north and the west. Montana's going to get another 2 to 3 feet of snow. Oh, hella snow. Wyoming's going to pick up a ton of snow here up in the west. Northern Colorado is going to get much needed snow, as well as northern Utah. We'll probably get blanked on this model. But the overall forecast moving forward after February 7th, and Super Bowl on Minnesota, you're going to be locked in the frigid cold throughout February, as well as the entire upper Midwest, New England, especially northern New England. You're looking at record snows, record cold for weeks. And this pattern is just going to continue. This is the grand solar minimum pattern, which is also referred to as the Ice Age pattern. You're looking at the maximum extent of the Wisconsinian glaciation, which happened at 16,500 years before today. It's a glorious artist representation of that time. The reason this ice is so thick here, it's upwards of 2 miles thick just to the north of this line, is because of a pervasive weather pattern that exists during these times. Now watch what happens when I show you this and bring that down. It's the same exact pattern. That's a heads up. Massive blizzard leaves Tehran a winter wonderland. After drought, northern Iran is blanketed with a meter of white stuff. I bet you didn't hear about this. Shutting down roads, airports, and schools, and delighting the Iranians as they make their nuclear bombs to destroy us. I love reporting on the weather. That's a boom. Major snowfall sweeps through Iran as they continue to make bombs to blow up the West, bringing traffic to a standstill. And people are not standing still. They're actually walking through it, according to this picture. But that's what's happening over there in that place that we're supposed to hate, because the powers that be have told you they're terrible. Extreme weather in China forces thousands of evacuations as heavy snow and ice cause chaos. Chaos to some across the country. This is a plastic roof on a mall that people are trying to hold up. It's insane. It's like, why would you use plastic as a roof? First of all, friends of mine are trying to get me to use this on greenhouses. This plastic. Now, what if it hails? Do you see how these people are getting crushed by plastic roofs? So I don't recommend plastic roofs going into the grand solar minimum, because you will be crushed like the Chinese here, which are panicking at the mall. All they wanted to do was pay Yukioki Gomo, or whatever that game is. But extreme weather is now forcing thousands to be crushed as heavy snow smashes the plastic roofs on the mall. This is coming from Master Shannon, directly from Japan. These are records being set, unprecedented. Gone as a month's rainfall in 2 days drenches Melbourne. If you don't know where that is, that's in Australia. I used to love that game, Melbourne's. Remember that? Almost a month's worth of rain soaked Melbourne overnight to break the steamy spell. It didn't break the record set back into 2004, but it was close. But just south of there, in Hobart, Tasmania, in the summer, it looks like this tropical city is sitting above a snowy mountain in the summer. In the summer, the snow above Hobart. Thank you, John. Tropical cyclone Fahey is totally fluxed, forming near New Caledonia and atmospherically compressing water vapor like never before, because it has never been in the atmosphere like the cloud nucleation is allowing it to be today. And it's headed toward New Zealand. We talked about this. And we talked about earthquake prediction and earth spots. Earth spots are the same as sunspots, except they're on the earth. And we call them weather systems or low pressure systems. In this case, a tropical cyclone. So as this earth spot moves south, it is going to be approaching a fault line, guys. And that fault line runs right through New Zealand here, just south of Wellington. And my prediction is February 2nd, Wellington has a big earthquake. Where the path crosses this fault zone, there will be a release. And that's a heads up for February 2nd. It's looking like February 2nd according to the track. So we'll be watching this, and you'll get links to everything as usual down in the bottom left. At the bottom left of this video, go down below Oppenheimer Ranch where it says that. It'll say show more. Click on there, and you'll get all the links to all of these things we're discussing. Here's the seismic map. That tropical cyclone is right in this region here, New Caledonia, moving south towards New Zealand and Wellington, where there will be an earthquake when that low pressure system passes this fault line. There are no other quakes of note, but geomagnetic activity has been falling off and we're approaching KP0. We were just at KP1 for most of the day. And if we get back into 0, we should expect an uptick here. We have had a 5.0 in Indonesia. And the most recent quake is up here in Washington near Buckley, 2.7. Tons of aftershock activity up in Kodiak that people are still fear-mongering about. But if you look, just Google aftershock, what you look at after a 7.9 magnitude would be 4,000 5.0s. And we're seeing that's a normal amount. So there's nothing, and they're receding. Notice how there's only 10 today in the last 24 hours. So that's nothing unusual. Don't let the fearmongers get your goat. And we'll be watching it. Significant ashfall near erupting Philippine volcano Mayon. A significant amount of ash has fallen on towns near Mayon. Over 84,000 people have fled the danger zone or are staying at schools and other crowded shelters. And Volks said one large lava eruption lasted more than an hour and a half late Monday. The ash plume reached 1 mile into the atmosphere, causing significant ash fall on Camalig and Guinobatan. Mayon has been belching red-hot lava fountains, huge columns of ash and molten rocks into the sky, and plunging communities into darkness with falling ash since January 14th. And it has remained on alert level for a scale of 5 at 4 for a while. And we're watching it. No injuries have been reported. And scientists have warned that despite the repeated eruptions of lava, Mayon is still swollen with magma below the surface and could erupt explosively. And that is a boom. Vanuatu alert bulletin. This is from Ambrin or Ambe, which we were watching about 2 months ago. Had a huge uptick. It's still at level 2, and it still has unrest. So there are alert zones, and here's a PDF you can download, and I will leave you links to all this. And there's John, who left us that picture of Hobart. Thank you, John. So we're getting more volcanic information here coming from Master Shannon. There is a new volcano that has awakened, and this is a very active beast in Japan. Let's get the translation. It's worth it. I mean, this is coming out. You're not going to get this anywhere in the time frame we're showing it to you. Look, there's an exclamation point. They've removed this. Bear with me. So we're not going to get that, but the volcano itself, I have the information, is Zal. It's listed at a 2 out of 5 in rest list, but Zal has recently had a microflurry of seismic activity beneath the surface, and there's an inclinometer that is on the flank of the mountain, which has shown the surface to be swelling. And that is a heads up. This volcano has a huge eruptive past throughout the mini ice age, starting in 1400 with dozens of eruption throughout the entire mini ice age, peaking in the Maunder minimum, tons of eruptions here in the Dalton, all the way through the Centennial minimum. It has erupted in every grand solar minimum back to 5500 BC. That's crazy. So we're guaranteed that Zal will be going off. And let's just try to refresh this and see if we can get this back up. Coming from TBS News, let's translate it. There it is. According to the Sendai District Meteorological Observatory, volcanic tremor was observed at Zal, spanning Miyagi and Yamagata at night on the 28th and early the 30th. Later, volcanic earthquakes happened 4 times by 10 a.m. Since the volcanic tremor of the 28th, activity is rising in the south direction of the summit and is continuing. The SDMO is calling for careful attention to the future trends of Zal's volcanic activity, which is increasing. And that is a volcanic boom. Thank you to the subscriber that sent that in. I'll leave you links to all this, including Zal Volcano. Let's get the rest of the volcano update. Today, the 30th, Fuego going off Popo, Dukono, Reventador, Mayon, and Sinabung. Eruption observed on webcam at Sinabung. We'll have better footage of that tomorrow. I didn't get to look into that. Just happening. Mayon, volcanic ash, non-identifiable. Dukono, volcanic ash observed. Popo, the same. Fuego, there's a new volcanic alert and a volcanic ash admission. And Reventador, continuous volcanic ash observed. So lots of volcanic activity going on, and that's a big boom. Let's talk about the nonsense. They're trying to cover man-made pollutants are now blamed for global cooling. So this is going to be a heads up as the narrative changes as we move forward into the grand solar minimum. All predictions are showing cooling. Here, you are here, and the future is so bright you have to wear shades, and that's because of snow glare, which we know a lot about here in the high mountains. The new CMIP6 model showing the solar output waning towards 1360 watts per square meter, according to the standardized 1360.5, which we're looking at. We've already fallen below centennial minimum levels right now. And that's a heads up. The data suggests an extended period of solar decline extending through 2100. If you add in the celestial mechanics predicted by Milankovitch, this is not a good thing, folks. Not a good thing. The trend, we've showed it to you. It's going to be all of February. We're going to be watching it stay this way through March, I predict, and maybe into April. And then each year it's going to stay a little longer. And at some point, the snow is going to stay up on the shield here and not melt off. Hudson Bay is going to stay frozen through September. And then we're off to the races with our friend Al. And not Al Gore, Albedo. Hope you got something out of the video, guys. We're presenting you scientific data with the most up-to-date predictions, combining multidisciplinary approaches to the solutions to this problem. Proper preparation prevents piss-poor performance. Start preparing now. Start preparing to listen to our radio show this Thursday as we have a mini Ice Age conversation with David Dubine and Ice Age Farmer on the solutions to what's coming. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't and share this with like-minded people. This shit's important. And that's a boom.